So Damian Lillard this past Monday night passed Clyde Drexler to become the most all-time, well not the most, become the all-time leading scorer of the Portland Trailblazers. Lillard surpassed Drexler's 18,040-point mark in the third quarter of the Blazers' loss to the Thunder. Drexler played 876 games for the Blazers. Lillard broke the record in his 730th game for the team that he was drafted by in 2012. Quote, "It's a great feeling to reach the top. It's been a goal of mine. And the list has so many players. Great history of our organization. So to finally be number one is a special accomplishment that I'm proud of," said Lillard after the game. Quote, thank you, ESPN, for that. What do you think of these Portland Trailblazers that currently sit at 17-14? They're right now, at the 7th seed, but they won more games than the Kings, but they've lost more games than the Kings, so the Kings are technically ahead of them. But they're right here, in range of the playoffs. They're in the playoff talk more than they are in the play-in talk. You would say that I'd say the Trailblazers, Kings, and Clippers are all on the same level.
What was that other team?
Kings, Clippers, Trailblazers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe for now. I think the Kings will start to fall off a little bit, and the Clippers will rise.
Because there's a few tiers right now. The top 4 teams right now in the West are the Pelicans, Suns, Nuggets, and Grizzlies. Then you got the next 3 teams are the Kings, Clippers, Blazers, and then you got the next group, which is like the Timberwolves, Jazz, Mavs, Warriors, Lakers.
Well, the Kings kind of have a similar problem as Portland, and it's just defense. I think Portland really is I think this team is better than when they made it to the Western Conference Finals. I need them to get a bench scorer.
They're one of the best teams.
And maybe a rim protector.
Do you think first off, Gary Payton not being back is also holding this team back from their true potential.
Yeah.
But do you think when Gary Payton comes back, do you think it's possible that maybe they already have that off the bench scorer in Shaedon Sharpe, and it's all about letting the reins loose on him? Because I feel like they kind of have the reins held back on Shaedon Sharpe, and they're just telling the kid, here, you're getting limited minutes, just don't do too much. Just do the little things right and just go and take advantage of any openings you see. But I feel like if they really told Shaedon, hey, buddy, we need someone to come off the bench and just score, go out there and we want you to put up 10 shots a night in 15 minutes.
I mean, that's what he's doing in like 20-ish minutes. I do think Shaedon's a really talented player, but as far as a rookie goes, I'm not ready to put all my eggs into the Shaedon Sharpe basket as far as reliability goes. I know he's been battling injury, which is a huge factor to it, but I still need some type of not crazy score, but I still need something off of the bench a little bit more than Shaedon Sharpe. I think Portland's issues are mainly on the defensive end. And I know they've been battling health issues all year, but we're getting to that point of the season where every team's going to be battling health, and it's just kind of what team rises above it. My thing with Shaedon Sharpe is he's got a very bright future, and even for this season, but I mean, Dame's 32. So I kind of need to figure this out now, not next year. They are set up nicely for a couple of more years, especially with the addition of Jeremy Grant and, Anthony Simons, but I don't know. I'm missing something, and it might be Gary Payton. It very well might, but I do think it also is even like a Nerlens Noel. I do think they're going to make a move at the deadline, and I'm very curious to see what it's going to be.
Yeah, no. So over here, I'm looking. It's crazy to think about that. Shaedon Sharpe's best scoring month was his first 6 games in October.
When he's healthy, yeah.
Yeah, and he's
still doing solid in his last 5 or so.
Yeah, no, completely. He showed that he could be like a guy right now who could score 10 points, a night in 18, 20 minutes a night. But yeah, I think Portland, they're a team that I don't know. The other thing is it could be when they're fully healthy, could be a shift. We've seen Josh Hart be able to be a scorer, so maybe right now there's Naz Little's been out, and with injuries like Naz Little, who had that, femoral head impaction fracture on his right hip, So the thought is when Gary Payton comes back and Naz Little comes back, maybe you do some lineups where Naz Little is in the lineup instead of Josh Hart, and you have Josh Hart be that guy off the bench and he scores for you, or you insert Gary Payton in the starting lineup and you have Josh Hart be the scorer. Because right now, as your fifth leading scorer, Josh Hart's making 9.6 points, but we've seen him as a guy who can literally drop 17 a night, 20 a night. And do you not have faith as Josh?
Consistently? No.
He did it after the All-Star break when he was the only option.
Yeah, the only issue is you have Dame taking 20, Simon's taking 20.
That's what I'm saying.
Taking 15.
You don't think like you have Josh Hart come off the bench, and that way whenever Grant or Simons gets a breather, you put in Hart to be the second option next to Dame?
It's interesting. I think Hart's just so good on the defensive end as well. I still view Simons as more of your kind of bench leading scorer.
Are you thinking that because they haven't done what you and I said in the beginning of the season? We talked.
I think Gary Payton's the reason for it.
You think so? So the beginning of the season, in reference to what we're talking about, this was when we thought Gary Payton II was going to be healthy. Was the starting lineup was going to be Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grant, Yusuf Nurkic, and Josh Hart. But we thought Simons was going to be starter by name, and that they start the game, he plays like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then they sub him out, put Gary Payton in there. And then when they go with the bench unit, Simons runs the benching unit most of the time. And then in the fourth quarter, they close games out with Simons.
Yeah, I think that's the secret sauce.
You think that's the plan? So they have Simons because they're paying him. They give him starter by name. Yeah. And then literally in the first few minutes of the game, you sub Gary Payton in. And then you have Damian Lillard, Gary Payton, Yusuf Nurkic, Jeremy Grant, and Josh Hart. And then you go and you sub in the bench with Simons as the leading guy. Yeah, that would work.
I do. One thing I really do like about Portland is their versatility, especially with their non-bigs. I like the versatility that they're going to be able, that Chauncey's going to be able to deploy. So, yeah, I think Gary is a huge X factor for him, but it would be nice to have not a Clarkson, because I don't need a Clarkson. Not an Eric Gordon, because I don't need an Eric Gordon. I haven't found that, that bench guy that is going to give me 10 that I can think of off the dome. But
thanks, Layla. But look, no, I agree. It's just finding it. I think, yeah, you're right. I think Portland's one of those teams that the only guy trade I've seen floating out there is if they traded for Nerlens Noel.
I like it, yeah.
So nothing against Drew Eubanks. I love Drew Eubanks, but it's just like, would you
rather
have Drew Eubanks or Nerlens Noel as your backup?
Nerlens Noel. There was that play last night, the final shot by Shea, that I don't really. Eubanks got kind of stuck. He didn't really commit. That I think having a guy like Nerlens might be a little bit more beneficial, but.
I also like the fact that, Drew Eubanks, he's from Oregon State. He's from Oregon.
Oregon?
Yeah, Oregon. Oregon.
I love Oregon.
It's like people from the East Coast, I forget that. Like, I've learned that it's Illinois, but like you go to the East Coast and they're like, oh, you drive through Illinois?
Oh, do they pronounce the S?
Yeah, because like when I first went to Kansas, I was like, yeah, dude, drive through Illinois is weird. And one of my best friends back in Kansas is from Illinois. He's from Galva. And yeah, you don't even know. You're from Illinois.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, he's from a farm boy, town of like 500. And like they have like snowmobiles to get in the winter to get around.
Yeah, most Illinois is like that. That's what I view Oregon as. When I went to Utah, we played Oregon our first week, and I was like, you guys ready for the game against Oregon? And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, literally, what are you talking about? The Oregon Ducks, the football game. Oh, Oregon. Yeah. I see.
Oregon,
language barriers are cool.
But Illinois, yeah. You come out here, they're like, Illinois? I want to go to Chicago and Illinois.
Yeah, what the? I don't know if I've ever heard that.
But let's pivot and let's talk about. Oh, am I still here? Okay, I froze for a second. Let's pivot and let's talk about Shea. What's your thoughts about the Thunder?